I'm having a pretty good day. I got kind of wild. Could be, video. It just says movie recording, but this could be video 6 or 7. We just don't know. And we don't know, on some levels, it may be true that we don't know anything. We think things. And even you could say, well, I know my name is, and so and so, and you could say, well, how do you know that? That's just what you've been called. How do you know that that's your name? That's a good question. I like that question. Okay, so I'm going to start off. I'm not an expert much of anything, but I have an interest in a lot of things. I'm interested that I'm wearing my wife's glasses today, and that it must be my nose is crooked, because when I look at the glasses, it looks like the glasses are on crooked, but almost every pair of glasses I put on look like they're on crooked. So maybe my eyebrows are crooked, or maybe my nose is, I think it goes off to one side, that side, and maybe because of that, it's affecting the glasses. I don't know. But I haven't spent this much time ever in my life staring at myself. I mean, I comb my hair. I might wash myself when I brush my teeth. I might pay attention while I'm shaving. But other than that, comb hair, brush teeth, shave face, that's pretty much it. The most time I spend looking at myself is when I cut my own hair. So if you look at my hair and you go, oh, that's not a bad haircut, and I would say the same thing, because I was a professional hair cutter. I'm speaking as a professional. I was paid to cut hair up until I got married, and then that became the only person whose hair I cut, and they didn't pay me, so I then became an amateur hair cutter. But up until that time, so since 1972, so 50 years, 72 I graduated, started training, advanced training in Beverly Hills, California, with the #1 hair cutter in the world, who won the 1972 Olympics of hair cutting. And then between 72 and 73, I began studying with him. So I studied with him for a year. Part of the time I was studying there, when probably after 6 or 7 months, he felt like I was good enough to actually do haircuts in the salon. I began doing haircutting in the salon. But then I ended up getting hired into an exclusive salon in Pasadena, California called The Gallery. And they had 8 hair cutters, and I was hired in as one of the hair cutters and the main trainer, because I got so good training for a year with Shuichi Mogi, who's still training. So it's Shoichi, Shoichi Mogi, M-O-G-I. I think he's still in Beverly Hills. He's still teaching people how to cut hair. He was, in 1972, the Olympic gold medal champion of hair cutting. And I studied with him right after that for a year. Also, my Taekwondo, this is virtue signaling, my martial arts instructor for 2.5 to 3 years. I studied with him with my son, and he was 6 when he started, 9 when he finished. His name was Master Han Lee, and he trained us in Taekwondo. He was an Olympic level, he had competed in the 84 Olympics. I think later, maybe 88, 92, when my son and I were studying with him. So he had just completed the 2nd Olympics he had been in. So my son, I think, was born in 86. So it would have been 92 that we would have started training with him. And we trained from 92 to 92 to 95, or 93 to 96, right in that period of time. Yeah. And he was, for 4 years, from the first Olympics to the second Olympics, he was the #1 Taekwondo competitor in the world. In the 4 years from the Olympics, I think in the first Olympics he took the bronze. But he had never lost a tournament to anyone in Taekwondo for the 4 years between the Olympics. And then in the Olympics, he broke his foot. And so he couldn't even put much weight on it. And he still, I think, either took silver or bronze. So his name was Han Lee. I'm pretty sure. Master Han Lee. And you'd think I'd know after, studying with him for 3.5 years. But so I studied haircutting with a #1 haircutter in the world. I studied Taekwondo with a #1 Taekwondo master in the world. I figure if you're going to study something, study with the best. You'll become better much faster. And as Shuichi Mogi said to me, he said, how good you want to be? And I said, well, good. I want to be good. He said, how good? I said, well, really, really good. He said, how good? He said, you want to be the best? I'd never thought of that. The best in the world at something? I'd never thought of it. So I said, sure. And he said, then you will have to be better than me. I am the best. And it's not like, 4 agreements, do your best. No. He proved to the world that he was the best haircutter in the world at that time, which was 1972 Olympics. I don't know if you can even look this up. The 1972 hair cutting Olympics. And I don't know if it was barbers and beauticians, or if they had a beautician's haircutting Olympics and a barber haircutting Olympics. I didn't even know they had a haircutting Olympics until I went to work for him, and he had the big trophy in a case in the waiting room, so that everyone came in who sat down to wait for their haircut or nails done or perms or whatever they're doing in there. They had to sit and look at this giant trophy that said 1972 Haircutting Olympics, Shuichi Mogi, first place. He was quite proud of it. I would have been too. I never did it. I never got into the competition part of haircutting. I only ended up doing haircutting for 4 years, and I went to chiropractic college. And I did cut people's hair when I was in chiropractic college, but I like people who know what they're doing, and I like to be around them. Okay, so there's a lot of information. I don't know if any of this is going to, just even get put out there. But some really super cool things have been coming in. And people have been asking me questions about the Mayan calendar that I haven't been able to answer, so I've had to do some research to find out. So there's something at the top. So this is, this is the 10th month. What is the 10th month of the lunar year? So there's 13 lunar months. They're 28-day cycles, like the cycles of the moon. And then there's a day between time, because it doesn't match up to 365 days. Of course, I don't want to get into all the detail, because neither do you. But I am going to read this. So the planetary moon, so the 10th tone of the lunar cycle, it goes through 13 tones. The 10th tone is the planetary moon of manifestation. So the words are to perfect, produce, manifestation. I would think it would say perfect, produce, manifest. That just is me. That's just my little editor editing the words I read. But there's a quote from Eckhart Tolle. Now, Eckhart Tolle, I like the concept that he hated his life, was committing suicide, was getting a doctorate in something, and all of a sudden just realized he was so miserable. And I don't remember the exact story. I remember reading it, but I'm just kind of repeating it. So there's a rumor. You can go read what Eckhart Tolle said. But all of a sudden he just said, something like, I can't do this anymore, I'm done. And then had this awakening experience. Now he says he did, and I don't know that he didn't. He got on Oprah, so he did something. He made some books. I'm guessing he made a lot of money on those books, which is something that maybe a lot of enlightened people haven't done, is ended up making a lot of money. So Eckhart took it, he took it as far as possibly he could, but he might be even taking it further. I don't know. But when I see words that are written and they're Eckhart Tolle words, I do like everything. I take them with a grain of salt. No diss of Eckhart Tolle, just that part of me that makes up my own reality and gets to take in the realities that I like and to discard the realities I don't like all of us. So this is a quote, so it must have been something he said. He said, I am not my thoughts. Yeah. I'm not my emotions. I feel that way most of the time, except when I'm really emotional, and then I think like, I am my emotions, and there's nothing you can do about it. Whatever. Okay. I'm not my sense perceptions. World seems to be disturbed today. I'm not the content of my life. All right. Possibly so. I am life. I like the feel of that. So I am life. I'm not the content of my life. I am life. I am the space in which all things happen. That's a pretty big space when you think about it. I mean, think about that space. And think about the words, I am the space in which all things happen. That's worth considering. Even if you say, well, I might be the space in which all things happen, but isn't it a little mind-blowing when you think about it, that I am the space in which all things happen? There's no separation there. All things. The space in which all things happen. And you are that space. That gives me a good feeling, like, oh, I'm a pretty big space. But so is everybody else. I'm liking this. I read this earlier, but I didn't read it like this. I didn't really like, I am the space in which all things happen. Wowie, wowie, wowie. I bet you haven't heard that. Some of you ever, or some of you in a long time. Wowie, wowie. I don't even know where it came from, but I love it. Wowie, wowie. Okay. I am the space in which all things happen. I am consciousness. I am the now I am. So if you are the space in which all things happen, then you can say, I am that I am. I am that space in which all things happen. It's a fun thing to consider. It's a fun thing to experience. Even if you're hallucinating it, it's still a fun thing to consider, possibly experience, is I am the space in which all things happen. It kind of gives me goosebumps. It makes me feel chilled. It makes me feel like I'm a part of everything. And I like feeling like I'm a part of everything, because when I'm a part of everything, it changes my relationship to everything. Okay. Last night I had a discussion with someone that is one of the few people I have these nighttime discussions with, where they're not just like phone conversations, but they're discussions with a person that's in the same space I'm in. So that person, I had a discussion, and we were talking about another person. So we were basically gossiping. If you talk about another person, they're not there, it's gossiping, which I'm, willing to do once in a while, but really in that I am the space where all things happens. I mean, unless I'm speaking about someone else in ways that I think we can change our consciousness and hold them in a way where they can have more space to really come into more of a oneness with the space where all things happen. But anyway, I decided to look up that person and see what they were according to the Mayan calendar. And that turned out yesterday that we looked it up, and they were a blue monkey. And I can't remember which tone of a blue monkey they are, but then I looked on the Mayan calendar today to see that it was a blue monkey day. And today's a blue solar monkey day. And solar is tone 9. And it's about pulsing, realizing, and setting intention. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But I'm going to talk about the blue monkey, because that's what I feel like talking about today. And so the blue monkey, blue is related to the West. It transforms the area of the chakras that's related to is the throat. And I don't really understand the whole, what body part is related to. I don't understand it yet, so I'm not going to mention it. Well, I might mention this left index finger. I don't know, have any idea what that means or relates to, but it might mean something to you. Okay, the blue monkey is about plays. The words are plays, magic, illusion. So what we create in the world, we must first create within ourselves. And this is in quotes. For there to be magic in your life, you must first believe in magic. And that's Lynn Andrews, who I've read a number of her books, and they're quite good and kind of expansive in terms of perception. But blue monkey is the artisan, the weaver of time, the scribe, the trickster, the playful agent of magical illusion, ambassador of Cosmorama. I know, you gotta make something up when you hear the word Cosmorama. And if you hear these words and you make up a meaning of Cosmorama, would you write it in the comment section so I can hear what people have made up? I've not made up any words. I don't even know why I repeated this, because it's in here, And maybe it'll mean something to you, but it means nothing to me yet. Cosmorama, ambassador. I'm the ambassador of Cosmorama. Okay, good for you. Here's $1. Now you're a professional ambassador. Okay, its energy is known for weaving new patterns, constructive solutions, artistic expressions, or inventions into our lives, for bringing surprise, unexpected change, or cosmic detours, for dissolving rigidity and control. The monkey's message to us all is, don't take yourself so seriously. Of course, I gotta say, unless you're from Sirius, and you gotta take yourself seriously because you're from Sirius. But otherwise, don't. Okay. Blue Monkey reminds us we are all children of the universe, here to play with the everyday magic and sometimes large weapons. I added that part, it wasn't in here. As we embrace spontaneity, which I just did, so you got to catch that, and honor play as an essential part of the wholeness of life, we find healing, liberation, and joy. Blue Monkey dares us to laugh, ha ha ha, and smile in the face of stresses. Good time for that, I would say. Smile in the face of stresses. You might say, what stresses? And I would say, I'm not going to mention them, because if you're not feeling them, good on you. I want you as my teacher. You're not feeling stresses? Wow. Can I be your student? Can I sit at your feet? So if any of you out there are, write in the comments section, I am not feeling stresses, then I can click, over the, like you do over the picture of my rock, and you go to my page. But I'll come to your page, I'll find out. And if you look stressed, I'll go, no, they were kidding. They're joking. All right. Blue Monkey dares us to laugh and smile in the face of stresses, transforming them into adventure and wonder. As the Mayan oracle encourages, as you freely play, the importance is taken off who you think you are, leaving room to explore all that you actually are. Because, where did I read that part? Where you are, gosh, that must have been, it's not on this page. It must have been the part of the kind of Blue Monkey that it is today. That quote by, I am the space where all things take place. I may have not said it exactly right, but I am the space where everything takes place. It's pretty cool. Okay. We can view the entirety of creation as a divine play. In Sanskrit, the word Maya means illusion which masquerades as apparent reality. Don't we all really get that? Maya is the illusion that masquerades. I just read it, so I know it's here. Illusion which masquerades as apparent reality. And reality is a construct, and a construct is something you made up. So a construct is an illusion, so reality is an illusion. So then get that part of it, that the word Maya means illusion which masquerades as apparent reality. The word Leela, and that's not the Eric Clapton song, it's Leela. Leela means the divine play of self. The divine play of self. Not the illusion which masquerades as apparent reality, but Leela, the divine play of self. Leela, the sport of God, which I don't believe in, but it just doesn't matter. Because if the belief in God works for you, then keep it. I mean, I'm not trying to deny the existence of God for you, because the saying is, it's only true if it's true for you. So if God is true for you, then God exists for you, and it's working for you, then you don't have to get offended by someone who doesn't believe in the construct of God, of a male God who created everything, and a male God who decided it'd be a good idea to send his only son, supposedly, and this is all made up, it may all be true too, I don't know, but it's all made up, that somebody said that God knowingly sent his son down to die for the sins of the people on the world he created. Now, if that doesn't just make you want to trust a creator, what would? I mean, I know my dad told me, when I was going into haircutting, hairstyling, I think it was called, before that it was called barbering. But when I was going in, we wanted to upgrade the sound of it, so I'm a hairstylist. I'm Stephen, I'm a hairstylist. I'll be your cutter, which could mean many things. But I had this conversation with my dad. I said, you want me to believe in a God, a male God, because I've only seen creation through the feminine. I mean, that's like, how many men do you know have given birth to anything besides problems? But anyway, I said, this is a God that knows the past, present, and the future, and knowingly sends his son to be hung on the cross. Like, that sounds like something maybe my own dad would do. I wasn't all that into it, I wasn't into the whole suffering thing. And so I like the divine, the construct of the divine. So in the reality that I am the space in which all things take place, in that space, I don't need somebody else's illusion of a God that created all this, especially when we're told that it could be true, and I don't know if it's true or not true, but we create our own reality. Then that means, it could mean a bunch of different things. One is that you are your own God, and this is the reality you created. And if you are as cruel as that one was, perceived by me, to send his son in to die for the sins of others, I say no, not in my reality. That's not for me. I like, yes, it's in my consciousness, but in terms of my perceptions of reality, I perceive it as a bad movie that I don't choose to watch, but occasionally I'll bring it up in a discussion. The word Leela means the divine play of self. And I don't want to talk about the sport of God, because you could say the sport of God is war. Because there's even a book where Arjuna and somebody else, so the human and the God figure, and he says, this is what you came here. You came here to be in this war, so get down there and fight. And what was that book? Anyway, it might come to me. But anyway, the sport of God, I'm not into necessarily the sport of God. I'm into the consciousness of oneness. I'm into the consciousness of oneness. And I'm into connecting to that consciousness of oneness and seeing what happens, seeing what roads my life goes on by being connected to the all that is. To just being, I am that I am. I am an aspect of the all that is, and let's see how well I can do this time. Let's see if I can improve on other times where I was maybe less consciousness of being the I am that I am. Okay. If we identify, well, the word identify, it's been popular lately. If we identify only with the Maya, with the illusion, and overlook the Leela, the result is suffering. I don't know about you, but I've spent a fair amount of time in this life involved in suffering. And how long do we want to be in suffering? That's a good question to ask ourselves. How long do we want to be in suffering? How long do we want to be in suffering, which is resisting our relationship with the oneness? If we're moving from third dimensional reality, which is a construct, it may or may not be going on. I'm just saying, if we perceive we're moving from third dimensional consciousness to fifth dimensional consciousness, how much do we want to hold on to third while we're moving into fifth and go, this is really uncomfortable. This is really uncomfortable. I'm really suffering now. You've seen my face when I've done a video when I've been holding on, and the ones that I sent the link to that one video and you watched it, you saw what happened when I quit holding on. So I'm going to recommend it. And I'm not saying I'm done holding on. I'm saying I'm done holding on to that. And I choose to be done holding on to all of it, even this reality. I think if we stop holding on to this reality, we work with it to the best of our abilities, we're in it, but not of it. We're working with it to the best of our abilities. We're doing the best we can for agreements. Be impeccable with your word. Do your best. Don't assume. Don't take it personally. Those are 4 options that you can choose. Perceiving the Leela, freedom finds us. Freedom finds us. Because what else you got where you are the space where everything takes place? How could you see yourself not free? See you in the unfolding play of cosmos. Now must go. Now must go while I'm feeling like this.